The greatest stock picker who ever lived spends his days doing one thing and then tells you to do the exact opposite. Sit with how strange that is for a second. The man who built a $500 billion empire by hand-selecting companies, one careful decision at a time, turns to ordinary people and says, in plain language, whatever you do, do not try to do what I do. Buy a simple index fund and walk away. For years, that sounded like a riddle to me. It sounded like a world-class chef who tells you to order takeout, or a champion telling the crowd to stay off the field. Then I finally understood what he was actually saying, and it quietly rearranged the way I think about money. Picture a mountain guide who has stood on the most dangerous summit on Earth. He has climbed the sheer face that kills amateurs every single season. He knows where the ice gives way and where the air runs thin. And when you show up at the base camp with shiny new boots and a head full of ambition, he does not hand you a rope and wave you toward the cliff. He walks you over to the cable car. Take this, he says. It goes to the very same summit. We'll get there alive, and you will get there today. That guide is not a coward, and he is not a hypocrite. He is the most honest man on the mountain. And whether you have noticed it or not, that is exactly what Warren Buffett has been doing for the rest of us this whole time. Let me show you the contradiction first, because it is real, and it is bigger than most people realize. Then let me show you why it is the most useful piece of advice he has ever given away for free. Here is what Buffett actually does at Berkshire Hathaway. He runs one of the most concentrated portfolios in the entire investing world. At times, a single company has made up a huge share of his whole stock portfolio. He does not spread his money thin across hundreds of names to stay safe. He studies a handful of businesses until he understands them better than the people who run them. And then he bets enormous sums on the few he trusts. He has held some of these companies for decades without flinching. He will sit on a mountain of cash for years, doing nothing, letting it earn almost nothing, while everyone around him grows impatient. And then, when one rare opportunity finally arrives at the right price, he swings with everything he has. This is not diversification. It is the opposite of the careful spread-it-around advice you have always been handed. He concentrates. He waits. He bets big on what he knows. Now here is what that very same man tells you to do, and he could not have made it clearer. In his 2013 letter to shareholders, Buffett described the instructions he had written for the trust that will support his wife after he is gone. This is the most personal money in his life, meant for the person he loves most. And he is not leaving it to a team of brilliant stock pickers. He is not handing it to a hedge fund full of geniuses. He wrote that the trustee should put the vast majority of it, around 90%, into a low-cost fund that simply tracks the S&P 500, and the small remainder into short-term government bonds. That is the entire plan. The greatest investor of the modern age, planning for the one person he cannot afford to get wrong, chose the cable car over the climb. And he did not whisper this opinion in a corner. He put real money on the line to prove it in public. Back in 2007, Buffett offered a bet, $1 million of it, that a plain S&P 500 index fund would beat a hand-picked basket of hedge funds over the following 10 years. Think about who lined up on the other side. These were not nervous beginners. They were elite professionals, the kind who charge enormous fees precisely because they promise to beat the market. A firm called Prodige Partners took the bet and selected a group of funds run by some of the sharpest minds in the business. Then the clock started. The way these professionals get paid is the quiet engine of the whole story. Many of them take a slice of your money every year just for managing it, and then a large cut of any profits on top of that. When the market does well, they take a piece. When it does poorly, they often still take their annual piece. Layer those costs on year after year, and they act like a slow tax on everything you own, a weight strapped to your ankle while you try to climb. 10 years later, the result was not close. The boring index fund crushed the expensive experts. It was not even a contest. Buffett won the bet, and he handed the winnings to charity. The lesson was not that the professionals were stupid. It was that the climb itself, with all its fees and friction, is brutally hard to win. So why does the simple path work for you when the hard path works for him? Why is it fine for him to scale the cliff while you ride up in comfort? The answer comes down to who you actually are, and it rests on three quiet forces that decide almost every investing outcome: cost, behavior, and time. Start with cost. Every dollar you hand over in fees is a dollar that never compounds for you again. Buffett pays almost nothing to own his companies because he buys them outright and holds for decades. You, paying a manager or a fancy fund every year, are renting your returns and giving a piece back constantly. The index fund charges almost nothing, so it lets the market do its quiet work without skimming off the top. Then there is behavior, and this is where most people quietly lose. Buffett has the rare temperament to watch a stock he owns fall by half and feel nothing, because he knows the business behind it. Most of us are not built that way. We get scared at the bottom and greedy at the top. We sell when the headlines are ugly and buy when everything feels safe and expensive. The active, always tinkering approach feeds that worst instinct because it tells you to keep reacting. The index fund you forget about protects you from your own worst moments simply because you stop touching it. And then there is time, the force Buffett respects more than any other. He has spent more than 70 years reading annual reports the way other people read the morning paper. He has a permanent pool of capital that never panics and never demands its money back at the wrong moment. He can buy whole companies and change how they are run. You and I cannot do any of that, and here is the part that stings. Most of the professionals who get paid handsomely to try cannot do it either. The yearly SPIVA report, which measures active fund managers against the simple index, tells the same story again and again. Over long stretches of time, the large majority of them fail to beat the plain benchmark. Not because they lack brains or effort, but because the game is that hard, and their fees dig a hole they rarely climb back out of. Let me tell you about Diane, because she could be almost anyone reading this. Diane spent her whole career as a school teacher. She was the careful sort, the kind of person who reads the entire contract before she signs and keeps the receipts in a labeled folder. When she retired, she had built up a respectable nest egg through nothing but patience and steady saving, and she wanted to be responsible with it. So she did what felt responsible. She found an advisor who talked quickly and confidently and promised to beat the market. And without quite realizing it, she started trying to play Warren Buffett's game. Hot funds, clever picks, a little of this sector, a little of that, always shifting, always reacting to the latest piece of news. She was trying to climb the deadly face in her good boots, certain that effort would be rewarded. Every year, the fees came out of her account quietly, automatically. And every year, ever somehow, her returns lagged behind the boring index fund her neighbor owned and never once thought about. She was working harder, worrying more, checking her accounts every morning with a knot in her stomach, and ending up behind a man who did nothing at all. She was the amateur roped to a guide who got paid whether she reached the top or fell off the side. The cruelest part was that all that effort was the very thing dragging her down. The day Diane stopped trying to be Warren Buffett was the day her money finally started growing the way it always should have. She sold the clever, expensive stuff. She moved the bulk of it into a single low-cost total market index fund, added a slice of bonds so she could sleep on the rough nights, and then she did the hardest thing of all. She left it alone. She stopped checking it every morning. Her returns went up because the fees and the mistakes went away. Her stress went down because she was no longer fighting a battle she was never equipped to win. She took the cable car, and it carried her quietly to the same summit the experts had been charging her a small fortune to chase on foot. This is the thing almost nobody in the industry wants to say out loud, because there's no money in saying it. A whole machine exists to convince you that you can and should climb the mountain. That with the right fund, the right manager, the right newsletter, the right hot tip, you too can pick the winners and leave the ordinary crowd behind. They need you to believe that, because the climb is where their fees live. Every layer of effort they sell you is a layer they get paid on. The cable car does not pay them a cent. It only pays you. And so the simplest, most reliable answer is the one that gets the least airtime, drowned out by the noise of people who profit from your trying. I want you to notice what Buffett is not saying, because it matters. He is not saying something index funds is a consolation prize for people who are not clever enough to do better. He is saying it is the correct answer for almost everyone, including a great many people who are absolutely certain they are the rare exception. He is saying that the humility to take the simple path is itself a form of intelligence, maybe the highest form of it in this particular arena. The hardest thing in the world for a confident, capable person to accept is that doing less will beat doing more. We are trained to believe that effort equals reward, that the people who study hardest and try hardest come out ahead. In most of life, that is true. In investing, past a very low bar, it quietly stops being true. The math does not care about your confidence. It cares about cost, behavior, and time, and on all three, the quiet index fund wins. So the next time you hear that Warren Buffett picks stocks while telling you not to, do not hear a contradiction and do not call him a hypocrite. Hear a guide who has personally been up the deadly face, who knows exactly how many people it has killed, looking you in the eye and telling you the plain truth. You do not have his 70 years of study, his permanent capital, his team, or his iron stomach, and the beautiful part is that you do not need any of it. The cable car was built for you. It goes to the same summit, and it gets you there alive. The richest investor in history already told you how this story ends. He did not hide it. He wrote it into the instructions for the person he loves most in the world, and then he bet $1 million in public to prove he meant it. The only real way to lose from here is to wave off the one man who knows the mountain better than anyone, and try to climb it anyway, in borrowed boots, paying a stranger for the privilege of falling behind. The simple path is sitting right there, quiet and unglamorous and waiting. The question is whether you have the humility to take it. My name is Ben. Stay sharp.